Are you outside, Rickard?
I'm in front of the balcony door. I couldn't hear with the water and it's like air out.
Yeah, with the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear water. I hear water 2 floors down too. With every flush.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Falcons Corner from a rainy Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Voice of the Falcons, Mike Rickard. In his office, the good guy to know, the co-host, Danny Berg. And then he's just down to turn 2 Tom in his office, the SID, Ferg.
Here
How
we
you
go.
guys doing, all right?
Oh,
yeah. I mean, you have a rainy day in Myrtle. I'll take that over a rainy day in Scranton.
Yeah, I mean, it's a late rain. It's going to stop like around 1 o'clock. So, my plan is to drive 16 miles north to go watch softball later today and then go to Senor Frogs for margaritas.
Oh, all right. Hey, you are on vacation. I mean,
I guess, yes. So I'm just gonna live it up. So,
all right.
So that's that. But let's start the show off by recapping your trip, the wrap to wrestling season or winter sports season at wrestling. So give us a little rundown of how the trip went and how the wrestlers did.
Yeah, so I mean, for the second year in a row, because 2 years ago we didn't have anybody, but second year or 3 years ago, I guess, back out to Council Bluffs, Iowa Western Community College did a great job hosting the men's national championship, and then for the women, it was a women's tournament as well. It's an invitational, as it just dropped its emerging sport status, I believe, this year, and the rest, it was a great trip. A lot of kids. I think there was 500 participants between the men and the women, and they had 10 mats. So they had the women on the middle 2 mats, so it wasn't, so they got attention. It's not like they were just pushed all down to one side and maybe not so many people were there. And as I think I mentioned in the group text, I mean, we were there for the guys because we didn't have a women's team this year, but there was some great competition.
Yeah, I remember seeing that text. Yeah,
it was. I was like, holy crap! Like it got intense. And for our side, it was great to have 6 guys get out there again for the second year in a row. I mean, it's not easy to you get to a national tournament. I mean, that's huge.
Well, yeah.
I think across the board, coaches and the athletes talking with our 6 guys hope they had done a little bit better while they were out there. But I mean that you're going against the best of the best. So. We had some early on Friday, we had some early pins, and I think eye-opening to first time competitors. Right. Eddie Lauritsen, it was his first time out there. Felix Mendez, his first time out there. A little bit of nerves. I mean, I think Felix even said that. He said, I was really nervous. So here you have a seasoned wrestler who's, I think in his 3rd season with us because he was injured the 1 year, however that worked. And it was nerve-wracking, and it is. You're on that big stage in a huge arena. The Mid-America Center is similar to Mohegan. So, and then Dylan Hogan, the competitors, Dylan Hogan was there, John Karoma, Simeon Hunt, Shannon Clark, and then I already mentioned the other 2. They left it all out there. I mean, Dylan won some matches
I know you
last year.
In your text that Dylan lost a tough match. If it was a couple more seconds, he might have been able to pull it off.
Yeah,
the fall.
And I was sitting with his dad. So his dad's been a wrestling coach for 20 plus years at the high school level, and still is. And he even said, he took a little too long to get into like that instinctive killer mentality to go on the attack. At the end of the first match where he had a takedown, and if he had just seriously maybe 10 more seconds, he would have had enough time to maybe push those shoulders down. And then in his second match of the day, which was, I think, one of the highest scoring ones, he came out super aggressive, and he told me he was going to because he felt like maybe he hung back a little bit.
Right.
And the other kid just never got tired. He just kept hanging around, and he was like, man, he just kind of inched his way back in and did those little things. So I think he was disappointed, but he was really happy about the opportunity to go. John Caroma did well in his first match, and I thought, here we go. But it's a big show out there. He performed well, and I really thought he was a good chance to get to day 2 and an All-American. And I think you run into someone who's equal, if not better, and that's kind of the way it went. I don't think there was any, oh my God moments where the officials got involved.
Right.
I think everything panned out the way it was supposed to. Shannon got a quick pin against a kid who looked like his twin. They were they were the same. It was like, I'm like, oh, if they didn't have different singlets on, I wouldn't know who was who.
My favorite part of the end of that match was the kid got pinned and then did like the Shawn Michaels kip up at the end where he kicked up from his shoulders, and it was so funny.
It was great, And then Simeon, Simeon had a really good tournament. I mean, he went 2-2. He got 2 matches. He won half of what we won out there. I mean, collectively we had 4 wins. He had 2 of them. His second match, I really thought he was going to get the pin. His opponent was it looked just like Simeon build wise. His reach was just a little bit longer.
Okay.
And Simeon's got those long arms, and he's super strong, so he doesn't run into that a lot. But he left it all out there, and he's a humble, they all are really humble kids, but he just put his work in. I mean, he bumped up a weight class. He got to come back for the evening session Friday, and I thought he got that one extra win, and he would have got himself at a minimum wrestling for 7th place, and just fell a little bit short. And that kid ended up finishing 5th. So I mean, it's not like he lost to. I think his 2 matches that he lost both placed in the top 5.
Right.
And I think the kid that Shannon lost to in the second round, I think he ended up competing for the national championship. I don't know if he won it or not, but he ended up going to the national championship. So good wrestlers, there's everybody at that level is good at that point,
Right. And I think some of those Midwest schools in particular, they wrestle a little bit more. They have, I think, more available tournaments maybe. They're a little bit, I think John Caroma went in with a record of maybe 6-1. Some of those guys out there had 32 wins on the season. So I think there's something to be said there, whether it's competition in general or the level of competition. They have their own conferences where they all compete multiple times. So the Gulf Atlantic didn't perform necessarily well out there. So I just think that's a clear indicator of the level, the difference, and the level from here and more the Midwest and even all the way to the West Coast, because I'm pretty sure Western Wyoming won the entire tournament. But we did have an All-American from Bergen Community College, Brian Vargas. He was a 6th seed going in, and he caught a couple of tough breaks. He had a couple long matches. He ended up finishing 8th, I believe. But he did pretty well, and it was great to see some familiar faces out there again.
Yeah, good. But like we always said, despite of the results out there, that looking program-wise and what we do as a college and athletic department is we'll get your kids here. We'll give them a chance to get on the biggest stage possible, like we do in all our sports: wrestling, football, baseball, all of the sports, and we're going to give you a chance to play on a national stage, and so that could only help us, down the road, not just wrestling wise, but for all our sports. So congratulations.
I think the important thing is you hit the nail on the head where it says we give them the opportunity, because some institutions don't. We've seen it years ago in football. There was a school that we compete against, like they had an opportunity to go to a bowl game, and they said they weren't going to send them. And I know our football staff used that as leverage to be like, hey, listen, why are you going to go there? They're not willing to send you to a bowl even if you get invited. Same thing can be said for wrestling. There's some schools, maybe they only send like the winner.
It would be easier work for you and save the college some money if we just say, nope, you're going to wrestle and stay in Scranton,
Yeah, it would be, right?
So, yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, good trip.
That's a good point too. Like, we could easily say we send our wrestlers, to nationals every year, come here and wrestle and, get on the biggest stage possible and get seen and, get yourself out of here.
Right.
Good. So, all right. So, Ferg, there's no athlete of the week this week, right? We're taking a spring break hiatus.
Yeah, we're taking a spring break hiatus with everybody out because we wouldn't be able to interview anybody anyway.
Okay.
But that's where we're at with it right now.
We could have named the baseball or softball person. I could interview them for you though, but I don't want to take all your work away from you.
I don't want to make you work. That's the problem. I don't know that it's in your contract to work too much more than you already do.
Listen, I'm enjoying not having to get up this week at 5 a.m. to go into the weekend.
I know, right?
So, waking up at 2 a.m. yesterday to drive to Myrtle Beach was not that bad. So I'll give Coach Duda credit for that. He at least got me kind of ready to travel, So once 5:15 hit on the highway, I was ready to go. That first 3 hours was a little dicey, but by 5:15 I was ready to roll.
All right, so we got that 4 o'clock hour is tough, but yeah, once you get to 5, you're fine.
Yeah. So we're still gonna do our commercials and then come back.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be back in the Falcons Corner. Hey everybody, we are back in the Falcons Corner. I'm remote. Berg and Berg are back at the office. What's the weather like there? Is it raining up there too? I know it rained there yesterday, right?
It has been rainy. It's been cold and rainy. It's like overcast today, and it's going to be maybe upper 40s or something like that. So not great, not as bad as it has been, but not great.
Right. I know on my way down, we got rain probably right on the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, rained until Virginia-ish. But by the time I hit Carolina, the sun came out. It was like 73 and sunny yesterday, 75, I think. By the time first pitch against Brunswick. So it was worth it. Despite what the weather is today, yesterday it was worth it. I think I got a little color on my arms. It looked and felt like summer. So
I got a little bit of that in Omaha.
I'm not trying to rub it in because I did spend 10 hours in the car.
I'll tell you, when I was in Omaha on Saturday, it was 75.
Yeah.
75 walking around downtown Omaha wasn't too bad.
It was it was not that in Randolph, New Jersey, where I was on Saturday.
How did the scorekeeping go though?
Yeah. It was good.
Topic a little bit.
Yeah. So I had to keep the scorebook for the Division III championship in the Region 19 between Brookdale and Monco, and it was an entertaining game. Two nationally ranked teams in Division III didn't get to play each other in the regular season because of extenuating circumstances. So had to play this championship game at a neutral site with nobody there. So it's funny. People were like, "Oh, this is weird," but at the same time, I was like, "Yeah, but we're used to this. This was not too long ago. We were doing this thing."
So they couldn't have fans there.
There were no fans there. There was administration, there was teams, and there was obviously game officials, but that's it.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it was weird. I tell you what, Morris did a great job in terms of hosting the event. Jack Sullivan, Roger Stevens, all the guys there at Morris did a really good job kind of hosting and managing it. They had a live stream going and all that, but I scored really well, Mike. I don't think that I missed a foul. I certainly didn't miss a point or anything like that. I kept the running score. There was a couple technicals that I had to dance around, but I was able to do that fine.
Did you take my hint and color in the free throws made halfway?
I did. I
started doing that this year too.
Yeah, I did the half the slash.
All right, good. Well,
that's right. All three scoring aficionados here.
Yes.
I'm glad the tutoring session helped a little bit and stuff too. So
how about that? Lackawanna pitching in for Region 19.
Here
yet
we
again,
stepping in.
And then you mentioned Roger and Jack, but those two are legends, so I'm not surprised that they did that. I really didn't know that there was no fans. I knew they were doing neutral site due to the like you said, extenuating nonsense, I'll say, from the week before, 2 weeks before.
Right.
But I just thought it was neutral in general. I didn't realize there was no fans. That's wild.
And it was a great game. Brookdale had the lead for most of it. Montco came back and was able to take the lead late, and it really came down to, I think it was a last-second shot or a couple free throws with 5 seconds to go.
Oh wow!
And Brookdale missed a shot at the horn, and Montco came away with the win. So it was a really entertaining, well-played game by two of the best teams in all of Division III. So
good. So I'm down here, down south. Let's start with baseball because that's the reason I'm down here is, to watch baseball. I didn't get to see their weekend games because I just got here yesterday, but they got their first win of the season against USC Sumter on Saturday in game 2 of that doubleheader. So they got on the board, but baseball's struggling to score runs and get hits. Basically, I don't want to say 1 through 9 because our leadoff guy, our bounce back guy from West Virginia is raking. He's probably at about a 500 clip, but everyone else is still trying to find their way, early in the season and score some runs. So I thought they came out of it a little bit late in the game yesterday. They strung some hits together, but then an untimely double play or whatever happens, kills stuff. So they're looking to bounce back with some winnable games, I think, now at the Cal Ripken Experience here in Myrtle the next couple of days. Yeah,
it seemed like they had some hard hit balls towards the end of that Brunswick game that just didn't quite end up working out. We're either caught or we're just into the wrong areas. And a lot of credit to Brunswick. They're 14-1, so they're pretty, and they beat some good teams so far this year. So
yeah, they were very, very, they were very good. They hit up and down the lineup and. They probably threw 4 or 5 arms at us. I don't exactly know how many, but, they all came in and had some good quality stuff and threw a couple lefties. Nice complex. You can see the difference in Southern Junior College where they have their outdoor batting cage pavilion. And, it's a different feel. I remember that when I played college baseball, when you travel south, when you get to play baseball basically all year outside, it's such an advantage to those schools, but that's why I'm not too worried because I know eventually with Coach McCary and the guys that they'll figure it out once they start getting some games under their belt and getting caught up basically with all these other schools.
Right. Yeah, it's early, and he's integrating a lot of kids that are bouncing back from other colleges, trying to integrate them into the lineup. And as we've talked about, they're starting to get out of their scrimmage mode, but they're still kind of in that because they haven't taken live at bats. They haven't taken live field since the fall. So they're still kind of in that mode of getting used to playing as much as they are.
And they're frustrated and they're pressing. And I could account to at least one of those who I have a very close relationship with is that, I'm just trying to reassure my son that things will be okay. That, you'll come out of it and it'll be all right. Hitters hit. It's the reason why you average something. It averages out through the entire season. But I think I'm most proud of myself of not yelling at him because I had this whole thing during the game yesterday that I was going to scream at him and go my old style of getting him so upset that I'll just be so mad and play well. I did the opposite. So my advice to him was, don't worry, dude. In 3 years, you're going to have to get a job and support yourself and start a family probably. So that's when real pressure starts. So just chill. You're playing baseball in South Carolina.
You're having fun with your friends.
3 or you don't get another hit this year, you're still going to have to finish college, graduate, get a job, and start a career.
You're still having fun playing in the sun down there. Even if it's not sunny, it's warmer than here.
Exactly. So I did offer them. They're off today. I did offer them to find an outdoor cage and go throw them some BP to work on some things that I think I could help him with. But he's not sure what the plan is yet. So that's still an open invitation. So they're back at it Thursday night at 9 p.m. Penn State York.
Really?
Yeah, late night against Penn State York.
Late night, and then Friday doubleheader. I think 5 and 7, and then Saturday doubleheader. Early Saturday, I think. I don't remember the time, but
Okay. Yeah, they got Itasca on Friday, and then I know Monroe Community College is one of the games they got to play on Saturday too before they finish their Ripken Experience down there.
Right, and I think they're all winnable. I know Monroe is a pretty good team, but I think all the other games, looking at them, is pretty winnable. On the other hand, softball isn't having a hard time hitting and scoring runs.
They're finding their way just fine. They've won 5 in a row as of taping here, and are playing 2 games. We're taping on a Wednesday. Are playing 2 games again, weather dependent, with Lincoln Trail and Patrick and Henry, a team they've already beaten so far this year. But yeah, they've won 5 straight and have been on a roll down there.
Yeah, so it's nice to see. I'm gonna, try to drive up north to see them play. They're about, like I was saying earlier before we started recording, like 30 minutes away.
Right.
So my plan is, weather permitting. I know the rain is supposed to stop, but hopefully if they stay on schedule, I'm gonna head up there and and catch softball for a little while today. So interested to see what Coach Pitt has brewing. I don't want to jinx them though, because Coach Pitt knew I was going to bring rain when I got here, and I don't want to bring cold bats.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were at the baseball game yesterday, and they had cold bats, so maybe he doesn't want you to bring them up.
Exactly. And my whole intention of getting to baseball was to tell everyone, don't worry, I brought hits and runs from Scranton, but that didn't work out. But
yeah, I saw yesterday that you said, Tom, they erupted for 11 runs.
Yes. So in their 2 games they won yesterday, they were trailing late in the 5th inning and in the 6th inning. And against their first opponent yesterday, they were down, I think it was 3-1 or whatever it was. And they scored 11 runs in the 5th and turned it around to where it became a run rule victory in 5 innings. And then they were down 3-2 in the 6th inning, the bottom of the 6th, against their opponent last night, Henry Ford. And they score 3 runs there. We're able to turn that around, and then suddenly have to put it so Henry Ford has to try to score to keep the game going, and we're able to pull out another victory. So a couple late games that they were able to come out with, but hitting up and down the lineup, and the pitching has been really good too. Olivia Graber's had a pretty good start to the year. Aria Reyes has pitched well. They got a good couple innings from Brianna Denise last night to be able to pick up the win in relief.
Allie's pitching. I mean, he's got a lot of girls throwing.
Yeah, he's got good amount of girls throwing. Morgan McVicker had some big hits yesterday to kind of help them out. She had like
6 RBI. That's a good mid-year transfer.
Yeah, had a pretty good run there for them yesterday. Maddie Maloney's hitting 400 at the top of the lineup and has been getting on base like crazy. Emily Dickinson is hitting over 500 and has really been on base a lot as well. Yes, our number 1 Falcons corner fan. I know he's excited about that, but everybody that's kind of been inserted into the lineup has been hitting in big spots and giving them opportunities.
Yeah, great to see, so successful. And if you make it up there, we'll have Kira's down there too, I think.
Well, I think so. I thought I'd see her at baseball.
It's a quarter of the athletic department.
Stick around at softball, so maybe I'll run into her later. And we'll have. I know we canceled our staff meeting today, but maybe Kira and I will have a staff meeting in honor of not being in Scranton.
We don't have production meetings for this show for good reason, but maybe we should have tried to get Kira on as our softball correspondent,
right?
or as our other correspondent down there to give us some details on what's going on.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. It's 11:02. I got to get back to vacationing. Is that okay? Listen, I know I said earlier I was at Buc-ee's yesterday. I made an extra trip out of my way. I've never been so overwhelmed in my entire life when I walked into Buc-ee's.
Did they still get welcome to Buc-ee's?
It went from I could shop for home goods and stuff to decorate my house with, to there's a guy carving up barbecue and fudge and then a bunch of other stuff. It was absolutely insane. I had a pulled pork sandwich that was probably the best pulled pork I've ever had. I had a blueberry muffin that I nibbled on this morning that was absolutely delicious, and I bought cookie dough balls.
Yes.
Did you go to vacation mode?
Did you go to the bathroom? Did you go into the bathroom?
And I went to the bathroom. They have art for sale in the bathroom.
Yes, they do. It's like pictures of like horses and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. I was walking into the bathroom. In the hallway they took into the bathroom, they had a line of art for sale. Like not like $10 pieces of art. I think they were like $400, $300. It was absolutely insane. My only complaint is they do not sell Pepsi products. I had to buy a Coke Zero Sugar instead of a Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Oh boy! Wow.
So that was the one thing, but I survived. So do you want a piece of bathroom art? I'll stop. I'll make another drive if you want some bathroom art.
Bathroom art. They tease you. They think you're hanging out there in a while. It's like 400 is not so bad for that.
Yeah. I mean, we got plenty of empty wall space here in the Union. I think you expense it to the school or something and get some nice art up here. I think that's what you got to do.
I think so. We could class up our bathrooms a little bit. Definitely. All right, that's the wrap. You guys enjoy the next couple of days back in Scranton. Hey, the only positive is you don't have to drive 10 hours Saturday afternoon to get back home. You only got to drive home from the office back to work 10 minutes.
You got it, man.
That's fair.
Enjoy the time. Safe travels.
I'll see you guys next week, and we'll see everyone else next week on the Falcons Corner. Take flight.